What's up, guys? Carolyn Castillo here, Absolute Top Dollar. Thank you so much for joining me on this video today. And boy, do I have a lot to say. So this video I was making specifically for sellers and investors. This is what Absolute Top Dollar specializes in, is working with sellers, educating sellers on the best strategy to sell their properties, what price to sell their properties, how to prepare their properties to be sold, and also working with investors as we acquire a lot of properties through our cash transactions, and we resell them to our investors, and then they fix them up and then they resell them themselves. So these are you guys are my two favorite clients. You are what my business is all about. People that have real estate that want to sell it, and investors that want to buy real estate to make money with it. So let's get into what's going on. So this has been a very exciting time, a very uneasy time, a very changing time. It seems like on a day-to-day basis, new things are happening. I keep saying this over and over again in lots of my conversations is we're not where we were even a week ago, okay? We're not where we were, and we're not where we're gonna be, okay? So it's a very weird moment, I feel like we're in like a very transitional season right now. So we're not where we were. So like when we look back at the comps and we look at how the heartbeat of the market, okay? So the real estate breathes, right? The real estate has a heartbeat. The real estate has a movement. When we put a house on the market for sale, I just by the way the market responds to it, I can tell like if we're going to have a big open house or nobody's going to show up, or if we priced it right, or if we overpriced it or we underpriced it. Based off of the activity in the market, I can feel and I can sense what it is. Okay. Well, currently right now, literally from 1 week to the next week, we're getting different vital signs. We're getting different heartbeats. And it's because the market has been so volatile. As I'm shooting this video right now, this past week, the Federal Reserve did increase the basis points for the third time. So at the beginning of the year, we all know that we were, pretty much getting, 2-3% interest rates. And now we're at like a solid 7. Okay. So that is a huge 3 to 4%, increase in not even a year. So yes, we're in a very changing time. So what does that mean now for investors and sellers? Okay. So if you are thinking about selling a property, so if you're an investor and you have a few rental properties, or you're getting close to your retirement age, or you had it in your mind, like you were going to sell it in the next like 2 to 3 years or something like that, probably now is the best time to get your house on the market. And I'm going to tell you why. So it's going all the way back from 2008, okay, when the huge crash happened and everything bottomed out, okay? From that point, it took about 10 years, okay, to go back up the mountain, okay? So pretty much I remember when I started getting heavy into the business was in 2016, I believe 2015, maybe it was 2016. And that was when I was sitting down with listing appointments, okay? And they were just able to sell their house because they had bought it at the height of the market, the last market crash, okay? They had bought it at the height of the market, which is right now where we pretty much are. The 2020 sales, the 2021 sales, and a little bit of 2022 sales is the top of the market, okay? So people in 2016, when I got in the business, were just able to sell the houses for what they had bought them for back when they had bought at the height of the market. And I was selling people's houses and they were only making, $20, $30, $40,000 profits. Okay. But they didn't do a short sale. They were able to get up out from underneath it. Okay. Right now we're at that tippy top. Okay. we are on the descent. That's unquestioned, that's undeniable. There's no argument about that. We are on the descent. But where we are right here, there's still amazing views, okay? We're still at the top, okay? We may not be at the tippy top, okay? But we're right here, okay? And we're descending, we're going down, okay? How fast this will happen from, February when they started changing the rates to now, there has been a lot of drastic changes. Now, how much pressure can that take, okay? What we've seen in this short amount of time, remember, 2022, really January of 2022, we were good. February, we were good. March, we were good. I think it really started to take a turn like in May. Okay, May is when we really started to see things the interest rates were going up. They weren't too bad, and then definitely in June, definitely in July, definitely in August, and therefore. So right now, you're still at a really good spot that you could sell. Okay. And if you price the house appropriately, where a educated listing agent like myself would educate you and say, this is where you need to be in order to sell. This is not a time to play games. This is not a time to, oh, my house is worth 500. Okay, let's put it on the market for 550. Not going to work. Okay. You still have time to get out now. Okay. And I'm telling you guys that very strongly. If you have rehabs that you're working on, you better give your construction guy a bonus, listen, if you guys get this done in a couple of weeks, I'm giving you an extra $5,000 or something, because you got to get your properties on the market now. Okay. So this is what you have to ask yourself. Who is buying houses at 7%? So we're getting right now hit at both sides. So earlier in the year, 2020 and 2021, you were able to get a house that was way overpriced, okay? But the money was so cheap. So you could buy the house, get a 2%, 3% interest rate, even though the property was really high, it worked out. But now the properties are so high and the interest rate is so high. So now that's where everything's getting bottlenecked and nobody's able to really move. So what we're seeing a lot of is, I'm telling you, I haven't seen this in a couple years. I'm telling you, every single day, my email, I must get at least 15 emails, realtors, price reduction, we price reduced. We're now currently the lowest house in the market. Seller willing to pay closing costs. Seller willing to do this. Okay. Guys, this is not what's been happening the last 2 or 3 years, okay? The new construction now is offering the incentives again. They're doing all that stuff again. So we're still at that good point where you could still sell your house. We have some sellers that we're working with right now that they were trying to sell their house in 2019. They had their house on the market for $550, okay? Thank God they didn't sell it. Now the house is actually worth about $750 in 2 years. 2 years, guys, 2.5 years. So that's not normal. It's almost a 30% appreciation. So what a lot of people are predicting, ultimately we won't know until, we're watching this video a year from now, 2 years from now, what actually happens. But a lot of people are predicting, and it makes sense, that fluff that we have in the market, that 20 to 30% of just people, I have on my street alone, there's people that bought houses here for over $1,800,000 that the house, the people bought it. I just looked at this last night and I was like, oh my gosh. I told my husband, should we sell our house? But there was a new construction. They bought it for $445 in 2019, okay? They just closed for $820, okay? Not normal. That is not normal, all right? So what's happening in the market, we still have these high comps, okay? So people that do need to buy a house, and there are people, real estate is not gonna completely stop. You know why? Because people are gonna get job relocations, people are gonna die, People are going to get married. People are going to be having kids. People are going to be upsizing. People are going to be downsizing. People are going to be retiring. Life is still going to continue to move forward. The price of things is going to change. Okay. So right now, we're still with all these comps, but what we're going to see really in more like December, probably January, is now all the sales that are happening right now. So all those price reductions that are coming down. Remember, real estate is about a 90-day cycle. From when you list the house on the market to when you actually close is a 60 to 90-day cycle. By the time all of that data gets uploaded, that's when we're really going to be able to see what we're dealing with as far as how much the prices have come down. And I'm telling you, they are coming down. However, right now, remember, we're at the top of that mountain. We're still like right here. Okay. We will get to the point that we're like here. Okay. This is not where you want to be a seller, right? If you're thinking about selling or you've got properties in your book of business that you're getting ready, now is the time. Okay. Moving forward, as far as like investors and like purchasing. So we've been having to take a very critical eye. Now we're looking at properties because I can still get you a good deal. We went on an appointment this morning, a matter of fact, and all the, just an example, it was like a 50% discount, the condo purchase, and they were selling for like $150, and we were able to negotiate a deal for $75,000. Now the problem is that am I going to tell you that in 6 months you're going to be able to sell that condo for $150? That's the thing. So you have to be looking at whatever the comps say. So if you're looking at a neighborhood and I'll tell you about another one. I have another one that I'm working on where the comps are ridiculous. Okay. So a realtor listed it for $689. That was the list price. And the house sold for $777. Okay. That's not normal. Okay. So technically, in that neighborhood, there's a sold comp for $777,000. Am I going to use that as a valid comp when I'm speaking to an investor and you're looking at purchasing a house in this neighborhood? And I'm going to tell you, well, the comps are $777, and there was another one in there that was even worse. It sold for $799, and again, it was like $100,000 plus over what it was actually worth. But that is not what we're dealing. That is not what's going to be happening moving forward, because that person that bought that house and paid $100,000 more, you know why? Because he got a mortgage for 4% or for 3%. So the money was so cheap. $50,000 in a mortgage is like basically like $100. Okay. So you could rationalize as a buyer, you could have said, oh, I'll go up 100,000 and I'll pay an extra $200-300 for this house, but it's beautiful and I love it, But now those buying dollars have come down from 4% to 7%. You don't qualify for as much money. So you can't play that game anymore. So investors have to be very, very critical when they're looking at the comps and saying to yourself, yes, that did sell for that price. Be looking and see, okay, it was on the market, this one particular, it was on the market for $689 and it closed out at $777. To me, it's not a real comp. It's not a real comp. The real price probably would have been $699, $700,000. That would have been the real price. But so you have to be very careful when you're looking at deals, when other realtors or wholesalers are showing you comps. Be careful. You don't want to get stuck holding the bag at the end when all the prices start coming down, and then you, based off of your repair value and all your costs and expenses, next thing you know, you're not even going to make 10 grand when you sell this house. So you really want to know what you're getting into before you get into it. And then, the thing is too, for the sellers, this is not your party anymore. Okay. So sellers have gotten very lazy. They don't do nothing. They just poof, put the house and poof, it sells, 100,000 over. That's not happening anymore. Buyers are getting picky. Buyers are walking in and saying, oh, this house is gross. This house smells. Like before, the house could have a hole in the roof and they're like, I'll take it. Like it was crazy. No inspection periods, no nothing. Now it's changing. We're not seeing as many people saying, hey, I'll pay 50,000 over. Not happening, So if you're a seller in the market and you've been thinking, you've been on the fence, do I still have time? Can I still make it? The answer is yes, but you're like the little sand that's coming down in the hourglass. Your time is running out, because what's going to happen is when this neighbor sells for 550 and then the next one, ends up selling for, 545 and the next one sells for 525, because when people are selling houses, not because they have nothing to do with their life, they're selling their house because, like I said, they're getting a divorce. Somebody died. They got a job relocation. Their kid is going to college and the whole family's moving to that region, like people sell for real reasons, and the market, the buyers determine what that house is actually valued at. So even though there's all these comps that say that your house is worth a certain price, but you put it on the market and nobody's biting, it's the price. Because based on what's available, no one's willing to pay that price for the house. So if I send this message out, if you have a good real estate agent that you're connected with, definitely reach out to them. Say, let's talk. I want to get started. Now is the time. Don't wait any longer, okay? If you don't have a real estate agent, contact Absolute Top Dollar. We actually have connections with realtors all over the country. We can connect you with the top listing agent. This is not a time to get stuck with a first-time real estate agent, your family member, your cousin. I mean, if you're a family member, like my family members, of course, they have like the best realtor on the planet in their family. If you have one of those family members, perfect. But if you've got, somebody that just happens to have their license, this market is tricky. It's getting very tricky, and you want to deal with a professional. You have to be dealing with a professional. Investors, you better make sure those wholesalers are really showing you the comps. If you want to call me, we consult with investors all the time. We provide that service for you guys, that in confidentiality, you say, look, I'm looking to buy this. This is the buy price. This is what I'm projecting. Do you think it's valid? We're happy to walk through that with you. The worst thing is for somebody to buy a property, and this happened back when a couple of investors that are currently my clients right now, we got together back in 2016 when I first started, because they had paid a realtor. I told them, oh, you could sell for this price. And it wasn't true. You couldn't. And I had to come along, be the bad guy, and say the honest truth to them. This is what your house is actually worth. And it wasn't a fun conversation, but go back 6 years and we've been making money together all 6 years, because I've never, my investors never do a bad deal. You could check every single person I've sold an investment property to. Nobody has ended up upside down, without money, in a jam of any kind. I don't have that reputation. So if you don't have an investor realtor that you work with that helps you comp properties and helps you, call Absolute Top Dollar. All of our information below. We would love to set up an appointment with you, find out a little bit more about what your strategy is for investment. And we always have properties. So if you want to get involved with us and you want to say, hey, I'm buying right now, the market is, but I'm still buying. We want to hear from you. We want to know you. So I hope that helps, guys. We're all going to get through this. Real estate will never stop. It's going to continue. But the way that we position it and the strategies that we take, right now we're in a very moving market, a very transitional market. So we've got to have our eyes open, our ears open, and we got to make our steps very carefully, okay? So I hope that helps, guys. Have a blessed day, and I hope you make a lot of money investing in real estate.